a player that, has said that he wants to play with Jack, you just signed Anthony Mantha. He mentioned, your analytics were a big part of what drew him here, and drew you to him. He does have some injury history, though he had a healthy 2025-26. How much did that come into consideration for you before signing the player, in making that decision? And what role do you envision for Anthony Mantha going into 2025-26? I know Sheldon will have, control of the lineup, but what do you envision that looking like?
Good question. So a couple things. It's funny you bring up the injuries history, because for us, we discussed that at length. And if anything, that was almost a positive that drew us towards wanting to bring him in, specifically in that, he was coming off ACL surgery. In spite of coming off ACL surgery, he had a really good year last year. And by and large, when you do your research on this stuff, a lot of times it takes a minimum of 18 months to come off of, like, to really fully recover from ACL. So our thought process was almost like, we're buying even lower than we sort of think, maybe, because if he was this good when he may not have even been 100% coming off ACL, what's he going to be like in year 2 out of the ACL surgery? Like, there could be even more potential to, like, than we even saw in this past year. As far as where he plays and slots in the lineup, yeah, like you said, ultimately that's up to Sheldon. I've already talked about it a little bit with Sheldon, and to some extent, I laugh a little bit about these lineup questions, because as we all know, we can make these lineups and pencil them and argue about them for the next 2 months. And then we start the season with one thing, and then 3 games in, the lines are all completely shuffled and they're completely So there is that aspect of it. Having said that, yes, I do agree with what you're saying, that there is an interesting thought. There's there's something interesting about the idea of potentially having a player who's 6'5", 240, and has this hands and the skill and the skating that he does to potentially play with a guy like Jack and even Jesper. But we'll see. We're just happy to have him.